the uptick in the COVID cases as the COVID-19 cases are crawling up in the national capital. The Delhi Disaster Management Authority, which is the DDMA, is likely to convene a meeting on Wednesday, April 20th, to discuss the pandemic situation in the national capital. As per sources, the officials may also discuss the mask rules, making it mandatory for everyone. The DDMA may reconsider its earlier decision to lift the fine on not wearing face masks in public places, as a lot of people have stopped using them altogether despite an increase in infections. The Health Department of Delhi government, in an order on April 2nd, had said that fines will not be imposed for not wearing a face mask in public place. All right, my colleague Manohar Kesri is joining us live on the broadcast. Manohar, we had seen many states, including the national capital, give up the mask mandates. But now, again, an uptick in the cases as far as metropolitans like Mumbai, like the national capital, Delhi, is concerned. Help us understand, in the scenario of the growing COVID cases, can we see these states go back to the mask mandate?
देखिए, बिल्कुल जिस प्रकार से मामले बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, अगर हम देश के अगर देखें तो ऐसे 29 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं जहां पर मामले बहुत ज्यादा बढ़े हैं, 7 स्टेट्स हैं जहां लगातार मामले बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। तो ऐसे में ये है कि जिस प्रकार से मास्क अप की बात हो रही है, अगर हम दिल्ली की बात करें तो दिल्ली में भी बीते 2 दिन में तकरीबन 300 से ज्यादा मामले बढ़े हैं। तो हम ये देख रहे हैं और दिल्ली सरकार, एलजी, ये तमाम नेक्स्ट वीक जो है तो एक बैठक करने वाले हैं कि आखिरकार क्या प्रोटोकॉल हो। जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने पहले फाइन लगाने की बात की थी, फिर उसको वेव अप कर दिया था, लेकिन अब देखना ये होगा कि क्या फिर से दोबारा दिल्ली में मास्क पर कोई पाबंदी लगाई जाती है। अगर मास्क न लगाने पर जुर्माना लगाया जाता है। उसी तरह से महाराष्ट्र की बात करें, गुरुग्राम की बात करें, गुरुग्राम में भी बीते 40 दिनों की अगर बात करें तो 40 दिनों से ज्यादा 2 दिन से लगातार केसेस आ रहे हैं। तो ऐसी स्थिति में लगातार मामले बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। दिल्ली एनसीआर के स्कूल लगातार बंद हो रहे हैं। कल दिल्ली सरकार ने भी एक गाइडलाइंस स्कूल के लिए जारी किया है और जिसमें ये बात कही गई है कि जरूरत पड़ने पर अगर स्कूल का उस दिन को पूरी तरह से बंद कर दिया जाए या पूरी स्कूल को कुछ दिनों के लिए बंद कर दिया जाए, तो इस तरह की गाइडलाइंस भी जारी की गई है। अब 2 से 3 दिनों में देखना अहम होगा मीनाक्षी कि आने वाले 2 से 3 दिनों में केसेस की रफ्तार क्या रहती है। उसके बाद अलग अलग राज्य सरकारें इस पर अलग अलग गाइडलाइंस बना सकती है, क्योंकि केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय की ओर से पिछले हफ्ते ही जारी किया गया है, जहां जरूरत के अनुसार से अगर एसओपी को पालन करना है और उनके मुताबिक अगर राज्य सरकारों को लगता है कि वहां पर मास्क के खिलाफ अगर लोग नहीं लगाते हैं, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का पालन नहीं किया जाता है, तो उनके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए। तो इस तरह की गाइडलाइंस हो सकता है आने वाले दिनों में अलग अलग राज्यों में देखने को मिले।
Right, Manohar, stay with us. We're also being joined by Dr. Anil Arora. He is the head of the Gastro Department of Sir Gangaram Hospital. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us on NewsX. You just heard my colleague who was telling us about the possibility of states going back to the mask mandates. Help us understand really why it is important for the public themselves. If you would like to give a message to the people at large, why it's important for them to on their own start wearing masks with or without COVID. That's something which medical experts have anyway been emphasizing on. Why do we need a fine? Why do we need a government mandate to wear a mask simply?
For having me on your show, I think it is extremely important to understand that the masking is something which is going to prevent the individual from having an infection which can culminate in a bad disease. It does not help the government. Government is secondly trying to protect you. So wearing masks is of utility to your own self. Not only does it prevent you from acquiring of infection, but also it also prevents you from carrying the infection back to your own home, where elderly and immunocompromised people may get secondarily exposed to you once you have been serving as a passive carrier. So whether the government imposes a fine, as what DDMA is trying to do over the next few days in Delhi, or else it tries to convince you on educational front regarding the utility of the mask, I think both ways the protection is your own. So you can't be selfish. You have to understand the mask is meant for you not only to prevent the spread of the disease, but also to take care of your respiratory tract infection, which may be coming in different days in Delhi again. So rather than asking the government to mandate it and put in a fine on you, So it is better for us to understand, especially from the wrath which we have faced with pandemic of the COVID, that we should understand the basic requirement of wearing a mask till everybody is vaccinated or till this perfidious virus goes away. Hold on to the mask. Let the not government make you have fine for it. Just try to understand the basics of the utility of the mask.
Well, absolutely, sir. While on one hand, masks are absolutely crucial really for safeguarding our own self, we're also seeing a large number of students who are also falling prey to coronavirus. Manohar, if you could shed some light on the same, help us understand really what has been the latest situation in Delhi NCR especially, where we are seeing a large number of students testing positive for coronavirus, and what has been the government mandate in the backdrop of the same. Right. Manohar, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Okay, we'll go back to my colleague Manohar. We seem to be having some audio difficulty there. But Dr. Arora, what do you think? The Delhi government has now asked schools to completely shut classes in case a large number of students start testing positive for coronavirus. What would you suggest be done in such a scenario where we are seeing classroom after classroom reporting children who are testing positive now for the novel coronavirus?
Yeah, Meenakshi, I think if you look at the way the schools were opened up, so after the subsidence of the initial Delta wave, everybody believed that the second Omicron wave will not come. But once it came and it vanished like flu in the air, so everybody thought that after Omicron virus, nothing is going to happen. That is the reason all the schools, malls, cinemas were open in tandem without any SOPs. There were SOPs, but then these SOPs were not strictly followed. If you remember, there have been some schools in Delhi which have failed to report the presence of the cases. So that leads to the spiraling of the cases, because if you have an exposed individual, it is going to be a carrier and a source of infection for other schoolmates and other staff of the school. I think government is again coming up with strict SOPs that if there is a case, it should be reported. Part of the section of the school or a particular floor of the school or ward of the school may have to be closed, and if need be, if there are too many cases, one may have to again close down the complete school and go on to the online classes. So this will evolve with passage of time, but I again go back to the basics of strictly following the SOPs issued by the government, as well as using your own contribution to the society by at least wearing the mask, and be sure that you have had the vaccination before you come on to the schools.
All right.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.